Well, I think he's trying to avoid responsibility. I think one of the things, I certainly talk about this in my book, it's been commented on by many former senior Trump advisors, the president has trouble owning decisions. So when a decision gets made that doesn't go quite the way people hope, suddenly it wasn't his decision. If the Afghanistan negotiations with the Taliban are not working out well, that must be somebody else's problem. So when this information about Russia arises, it's hard for me to believe that somebody didn't tell him about it. And the fact that there might have been disagreement in the intelligence agencies, that happens all the time. So I'm confused by the White House's confusion over this. I don't think they have a grip on what actually is going on. I don't know how it works at the White House today, but I followed the same system as my predecessor, H.R. McMaster. Before each briefing of the president, the director of the CIA, the director of national intelligence, and the briefer would meet in my office. We'd talk about what the briefer would say to the president. We talked from time to time about what would be said in future briefings. Both briefers who I worked with, I thought were outstanding career officers. It's not entirely their decision, nor should it be. Honestly, the biggest problem is not what is said in or not said in the oral briefs. It's that I didn't see in 17 months any evidence the president read the PDB itself. So that's why I felt that listening to all of the confusion over the past week or so, even if there were uncertainty about the information, to at least give the president a heads up that the Russians might be paying bounties to kill Americans was something he ought to hear about and maybe get a reaction to. Maybe he'd say, I'm very concerned about that. Make verification of that the highest priority. That would be an important instruction. I'm very, very clear that I'm not going to talk about classified information. I didn't in my book. I've been accused of it. I think it's because the president didn't want the book to come out before the election. That's a separate issue. But I do think that analytically, people need to understand there aren't just two categories of intelligence information. Over here you have your verified information, and over here you have everything else. This is all along a spectrum of uncertainty, and you don't wait until the last possible minute if there's something as serious as a nuclear power purportedly paying terrorists to kill Americans. I have enough scars from bringing up things about Russia that he probably didn't want to hear that I can say I agree with that. I do think that that everybody understood the nature of Russia's activities, with the possible exception of the president. And so a lot of activity went on, as you might expect it would, and we tried to inform the president, tried to get his reaction. Steps were taken, I think, importantly, to deal with Russian threats, but usually as the president grumbled and complained along the way. The case of the Brits, and the White House has said that whatever the level of verification of the information, allies with forces in Afghanistan were warned about it. That's one reason you also have to tell the president. What if the Prime Minister of Great Britain, that in 2018 suffered a chemical weapons attack by the Russians against two Russian defectors in Salisbury, England, what if the Prime Minister of Britain said, what do you think of this intelligence threatening our troops in Afghanistan? If the president didn't know about it, I can imagine, because I would have been listening to the call, perhaps in the Oval Office, he would have turned to me and said, well, gosh darn, John, what intelligence is he talking about? You can't have foreign governments informed on something like this, again, without at least giving the president a heads up. Mr. President, we don't know everything. We're still looking into it, but you need to know X. I'm just mystified why that didn't happen.